Now, when I woke up a few years ago, I experienced. It felt like I was having an ego breakdown. You know, I realized that at that point I could release. I had the energy. I had the power to release um, certain things, certain people. So I had a very massive ego breakdown. It was a very brutal awakening. I had a very big breakdown. But something very magical happened at that time. Before I'd been trying to hold on very hard to the wrong marriage, to a narcissist. And then I realized that it wasn't worth it. This wasn't worth it. That particular time, that's when I felt that it was time to release that person. So the things that I used to be fearful about, you know, so, let's hang on to this marriage. Let's try to make it work. Those kind of stuff. It didn't matter anymore because I knew what I was dealing with. I was like, I cannot deal with this kind of crap. I was ready to release that energy. Now, a lot of things started happening. I started going through very massive transformations in that time. So that is also the exact moment in those first days. That is when I realized that I had broken the trauma bond. So what many people do not tell you, what you will not hear people talking about is that the trauma bond is demonic. A trauma bond is when that evil person, they have trapped your soul somewhere. So they have trapped your soul to them. They have entangled with you spiritually. So you have got a very big, like, it's very difficult to explain that thing, but you have got a very big attachment to these people. It's toxic, but you're addicted to that toxicity as well. So you are spiritually bonded with those people. So that moment, I broke the trauma bond. That is when I felt a very big. It was something lifting out of my chest. I've done a whole video on this. It's called the switch. If you go to my videos, you look the video. It's called the switch. I talked about that whole experience. Now, like I've said, so many transformations started happening. I started going through a lot of shifts, changes, and stuff like that. It was very, very intense, ladies and gentlemen. You have no idea. It was the most intensive period of my life. I would later on learn that I was also going through a spiritual awakening. You know, I had burst out of this bubble of illusions. So I had found out what the illusion was, and I'd burst out of that bubble that had kept me in bondage for quite a good number of years. So I was able to burst out of that bubble. And what happened after those days was healing. Healing started to happen. I did the healing work on myself. And then that's when I also experienced very intensive, massive spiritual transformations. I didn't make a list, but I will give you some of the signs that you have gone through a spiritual awakening and you're going through very massive transformations, and you're experiencing spiritual upgrades. What will usually happen, first of all, is that you are going to start seeing the truth for what it is. You're going to see the truth for what it is. There is no other way around it. You can no longer try to cover your eyes because you don't want to see it. You're going to see it the way it is. So, personally, not only did I see what was going on in that marriage, I was also able to understand what was happening within the narcissistic family matrix. So that is when I was able to see what was going on behind the scenes. Something I was never able to see before. I was able to understand what it was. So you are really seeing the truth what it is. So anybody may come around and shut down your truth or try to gaslight you a little bit here and there, telling you things, but you already know what is going on. And you already see the truth. It is very difficult to brainwash you into unseeing it, because when you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's just simply the way it is. So you are a person who is starting to see the truth for what it is. Number two, you will you will get the courage. You will feel the courage to start disconnecting from people that no longer serve your highest good. So for me at that time, I was able to, like, for example, I'd already started seeing, um, toxic friends, family members. I started understanding these toxic people. And I had the courage to allow myself to detach from these people because I did not want anything to do with them. So that's when I started going through the blocking process. If I was going no contact, I started blocking these people. I did not want them to come into my energy because I had nothing to do with them. Some of you might experience detachment from your family members. You might experience detachment from your jobs. You're starting to see that you have got a very toxic boss at work. You're detaching from people that you understand they are toxic and they do not serve, they have never served your highest good. Something else that will happen when you're going through massive spiritual awakening is that your body is going to start to heal. Now, depending on everybody's different, because I've told you not everybody wakes up after going through this whole thing of narcissism and everything. It can be different scenarios. Some people may have brutal awakenings, like personally, I had the brutal one. But some other people may have just a spontaneous one. It could be a smooth one whereby a person just starts to transform gradually and naturally. So you might, for example, if you're a person who has been going through um, trauma, it has been hard, been having different types of sicknesses. For some reason, your body is going to start to heal. Your body will start to heal. You will feel that healing happening. You will feel like you have got your energy. It's like there is things you couldn't do back in the days. You started doing those things. You're getting into new experiences, new ventures, and stuff like that. You're going to start to heal physically, emotionally, and at the same time, spiritually. So you'll experience healing on a different level. Healing will start to happen. So another one I can think of, like I didn't come with my list, I've told you, so I'm just going to be downloading them one by one, is you will start to question everything. You're going to question everything. Everything that you thought that you knew about life, you're going to question everything. You're going to question the things that people tell you. You're going to question the things that your boss says at work. You're going to question your landlords. You're going to start questioning everything because it's like you can almost see everything through the illusion. And you feel like there is something else missing that they're not saying. So you will question everything. You will question your religion. You will question school. You will question everything, community, society. You will question your own tradition because you will feel like there is still something else behind the scenes that they have never told you from day one. So when you find yourself in that state where you simply can look around everything and you can question almost everything that you see, you're actually going through a very massive spiritual awakening, and eventually heavy spiritual upgrades are happening inside within your personal life. Now, at some point, you might also experience a different taste of food. So you could have been used to different way of feeding. There's food that you used to think was okay back in the days, but in those early months, you're going to feel like you have lost your appetite of food. You no longer want that. Taste is like disgusting for you. The food that you used to think was okay. Personally, back in the days, I used to like a lot of sugary stuff. The cookies and stuff like that. Sometimes cakes, sweets, things like that. I was addicted to those things. I didn't know that. I couldn't see that those things was even harming my body. So when I got the awakening, I started getting rid of those things. I felt like that wasn't that wasn't proper feeding. So I started getting rid of those sugary stuff and stuff like that. I still use sugar, but it's not that same thing that I used to do before. But I've changed on the way I use some things and some foods. So you might get a different taste of things. You could be a person who has been consuming a lot of meat. then all of a sudden you're thinking that you're going to have to change. You want to eat a lot of vegetables, you want to eat a lot of fruits, something will change about your feeding habits. So you may start getting interest in eating different things in that particular time. Something else that happens when you're going through this awakening is you will lose people. You know, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose a lot of family members, friends, family members, the people that you used to know. They are going to distance themselves from you. So do not be surprised when you start to, when you will start feeling like people are avoiding you, kind of. They're like pulling away, or sometimes you may be the one pulling away from some people. And then all of a sudden, there's nobody around you. Back in the days, a couple of months ago, you used to have a lot of parties at your house. People was all over the place. But this time, you're seeing like it's very quiet. Nobody's coming around. Your phone is not ringing. Nobody's checking up on you. Nobody knocks at the door. Things like that. Everything is changing. Things are shifting. So that is also a very big sign that you are going through this transformation. So basically, what is happening is that you're moving away. It's like you're detaching from the old you. The new you hasn't yet been born, but you're trying to give birth to a new you. So you're in the middle of that process. So you're going through that transformation. And all I can promise you is that you are about to meet your greatest version. It's just a matter of time before you will step into your highest version, your greatest version. So nobody will be around. People will detach. People will move. People will avoid you. Some people may call you crazy. People will start, thinking behind the scenes that you're going crazy. Something is happening to you. What is the truth is that yes, something is happening to you, but not in a bad way. Although in the beginning it may appear like something very bad because you don't even know what is happening to you. You may even sometimes think yourself that you're going crazy. So that is also a sign that you're going through a very, very massive awakening. Okay, it is not something that everybody else goes through. A few people will go through it, some people will not. It's just the way it is. Something else I can think about is you may lose interest in you know watching TV. So back in the days, you used to have um, these different programs you used to watch. Those, what do they call them, the soaps that you used to enjoy, the series and stuff like that. Your eyes was always fixated on TV, and sometimes the news. You was a person who was like watching the news 24 hours a day. But when you wake up, you start to understand that a lot of these things have also been playing a part in disrupting your own personal energetic frequency because of the things they used to portray on the TV. So the programs you used to watch, you could have liked sometimes those horror movies, these action movies, and sometimes it was a little bit of fun. You thought that it was fun back in the days. But now you're feeling like this is very bad energy. You don't want to deal with that energy, and you are detaching from TV. I remember back in the days when I was in my journey, I felt like I needed to throw the TV out of the window. The TV was very disgusting. I didn't even want to, I could spend a whole day without switching on TV. And even if you watch TV, it doesn't mean that you don't watch television at all. Yes, you will watch television, but you're going to be very selective of the programs you want to watch on TV. So you no longer, because now you recognize negative energy. And sometimes you're putting on this TV and the only thing you're seeing is negativity. So and so short, so and so did this, so and so did that. You're consuming all this negative energy. And it has been keeping you in lower steps of vibration. So your view of television and entertainment is going to shift as well when you're going through these transformations. Something else I can think about when you're going through a spiritual awakening is you might go through periods where you want to be alone. It is going to be boring. It's going to be, being lonely is not like something very interesting because you're out there just doing you, being you, and whatever, focusing on you. You may feel you miss interactions with people, but even if you get those interactions, they're not going to turn out nice. They are not, something you want to get involved in. So I want to spend some long periods of, long time, long periods alone. You may find yourself drawn to, you know, take some time to meditate, take some time to pray. If you're a prayerful person, you want to meditate, you want to really, really go within and, do the inner work on yourself. So you don't want anybody to interrupt that process. You want that process, that time for yourself. You don't want anybody to get into between you and that time. So you want the time for yourself to focus on yourself and you do you. What else I can remember when I was going through the spiritual awakening is you may start to appreciate the little things in life, you know. And sometimes you couldn't have been a person who used to be grateful. Back in the days, you used to take things for granted. You used to think that you was entitled to this, you was entitled to that. The running water in your home, the electricity, the lights and stuff like that. So you used to be, taking things for granted. You didn't understand that the universe was actually blessing you on a regular basis. So when you start to go through these transformations, you start to look very closely around you and you're starting to appreciate even the little things. You can appreciate everything, the pets in your house, the cats, the dogs. You appreciate the plates, the cups, the clothes you have on your body. You're going to look around and you start being grateful for everything. Because you're understanding that everything begins with gratitude. Transformation also involves being grateful about the things that you already have. So you're going to develop an art of gratitude. And these are things that are going to just naturally come to you. It's not like, yes, of course, you may, listen to different people teachings and what and stuff like that. You might read a couple of books, but there are some things which are naturally going to come to you, when you're going through these transformations. Now, another thing that normally may happen as well, which is also a very difficult one, is when you may experience very long states of lack. You may be in lack. It's going to be, really difficult. Sometimes you may be struggling even to pay your own rent. You may be struggling to feed yourself. You're just going to go in that state of lack. You will actually not understand what is happening. You may even lose your job. Some of you could go through job losses. You may lose the jobs, or you may get fired, or you may fire yourself. It may happen either way. And you may go through the very, very long process of lack. You're just struggling with everything. You just can't seem to pay your bills. You just can't seem to, feed yourself. It can be in any way, but you may experience lack in some way. Because you see, when you're going through these transformations, it's like you're purging a lot of energy and you are entering a new energy. So the old energy is leaving, but at the same time, you haven't yet stepped fully in the new energy. So you are, like I've said, you're in the middle. You are in this transformation process, this period of transformation. And also, you may experience lack, you know. You haven't yet found out who you want to be or what you want to do, but at the same time, you're releasing all energy. So you may sometimes struggle with finances as well, where you may find yourself is like all your bank accounts are drained. Sometimes they may even be minus. So when those things are happening, you just have to know that there is something else happening behind the scenes. And normally you don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to have figured everything out. You just have to trust the process. Spiritual awakening is a very divine process. It is something you cannot fight with. You just need to let it flow the easy way and the natural way. And you trust that everything is going to, work out as planned. Another thing, you may be drawn. One of the other signs that you are going through a massive spiritual transformation as well, you may get drawn to nature. So you may find yourself, having those long walks in the parks, going to the beaches to swim, have a little swim, maybe in the lakes, and you are really, really drawn to nature. You started to appreciate nature, You go around there, you're just looking at the small creatures, whatever insects, plants, the flowers and everything, you're really appreciative of nature. Because more than ever before, you are really, really connected to nature. So you're getting drawn to nature. When you go out, you fully embrace those natural environments around you. Now, sometimes you may also what else do I remember? You may also go through a period where you are going to be misunderstood. So there will be people who that you're struggling to make a conversation with them. You're explaining to them things, and people they think that you're speaking an alien language. People they don't understand what you say. There's things that you do understand, but they do not understand, because what happens is that you are moved out of an old timeline. You're moving to a new timeline, and you're going to be the two or the three of you, between you and the old folks. You're going to be on parallel timelines, and there's different information you're receiving. There's different things there's a different world that you see. Other people don't see it, and they don't understand. So you're going to be misunderstood. So people will struggle to understand you. Most of the times you will be speaking about things and people will be like, what is that person saying? So that is where you might experience people pushing you to go, and you need to go to a doctor. You need to go. I remember personally, my family told me that I should go and get my head checked because they thought I was going insane or something like that. But I knew that this wasn't anything to do with going crazy or something. It's just because that I'd jumped timelines, and it's the reason as to why I knew that I knew some things and I would see some things they couldn't see. So I accepted it at some point. I said, oh, okay, they will never be able to understand me. So I cannot force myself, or I cannot force them to understand me because they're not ready yet. So I was able to keep on moving and leave them behind because there's nothing else I could do. So you will be misunderstood, is what I'm trying to say. You are going to really be misunderstood. People, they will question everything that you do. They will question the clothes you wear. They will question the food you eat. They will question every decision you decide to take because they will never see what is happening to you. These are spiritual things they cannot see with the naked eyes. So those are some of the things I can think about when a person is going through a spiritual awakening and eventually a massive spiritual upgrade and transformation. There could be some other things that I may not have mentioned in the video. If you have seen those signs as well, drop them in the comment section below. Let us know what is your opinion. And you guys know I do love and appreciate your support. You can book a session with me if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. Desmos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.